Howdy, y'all. Look what done blown in from the range. Found us a tumbling weed, aka another box of collector boosters. And this here is a javelina to give us luck. It's a little fuzzy pig that lives out in Arizona deserts. Thought it was fitting. So let's jump on in. We are again trying to complete our desert tribal deck. Hoping for some good pulls on this one. Last box was a little lackluster as far as financial value goes, but had a lot of cool, flavorful pulls. And again, we're doing this for fun, just to spend some time together. And I love pack openings, box openings. Let's mix them all up just for funsies. All right, here we go. Starting off, the first, we'll go from back to front if you haven't watched our other videos. And the first four are commons. So we're already looking good. We've got ourselves a desert right here to get go. Conduit pylons enters the battlefield. Surveil 1. I like Surveil as an ability. You can add colorless or you can pay 1 and filter. Not too shabby. The next three are going to be uncommons, and also at knife point. So as long as it's your turn, outlaws you control have first strike. This means assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks are outlaws. The best way to remember that is the acronym that I like to use, WARM P. It's not just for drinking in the desert. It's also to remember warlocks, assassins, rogues, pirates, and P is pirates and M is mercenaries. So warm P if you ever need to remember that for some reason. So that was a funny one. We've got a sweet swampland and our two uncommons, which we got in foil hypothesis, a great limited card if you happen to pull that. And then we also have Greed's Gambit. These are our rares. Stoic Sphinx. And I'll set them up a little bit different than last time. We'll just put them here center, because these are the cards that are the money rare. So we have the Step Between Worlds, which is your Time Twister like card. And then we have Eris, Roar of the Storm, which is your commander card that came out of the kind of rootin' tootin' gun totin'. And then we have the root tootin' gun totin' commander deck. And then we have Dust Bowl, a card we did not get earlier, so I'm super happy to have this and add it to our desert deck. Let's see what commons we're going to get. Take Up the Shield, Forlorn Flats. This one's funny. A Plant Spider. Tarantula. Half cactus, half tarantula. Costs 1 less to cast if you control the desert. Has reach. It's a 6/5. And whenever Tarantula becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Commons sure have changed over the years. And Magic, they are so much more powerful than they used to be. All right, Lava Spur Boots. That's what we're hoping for. We did not get those. And so we'll just kind of pass over some of these cards in the interest of time. Now let's look at our beautiful land. We got another swamp. Here's our two uncommon wanted poster kind of cards. These come from the Prosperity Bulletin or the Prosperity Post newspaper is the flavor. It's not for everybody, but what are you going to do? You got to try some things sometimes. Look at that double caustic Bronco. It's an insane snake horse. Just to check out that art there. Whenever it attacks, reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. That seems good, but then you lose life equal to that card's mana value if it isn't saddled. You have to pay or use saddle 3. And saddle, if you're unfamiliar with it, is like a vehicle, but it can only be done at sorcery speed. And yeah, so it's not quite as good, in my opinion, but it's a neat mechanic. All right, so we've got Cataclysmic Prospecting for our commander card here. Not familiar with it, but it deals X damage to each creature. Okay, so it's a board wipe for 2 red and an X. And then for each mana from a desert, oh, perfect. So it's going to go in our desert deck. Each mana from a desert spent to cast this, you get a tap treasure token. Hope y'all are doing well. Some of my friends are in the pre-release right now and dressing up like cowboys and having a great time. I have a hard time doing pre-releases with that many people. Our shop gets so full. It's a little difficult for me to do those myself because maybe I'm claustrophobic in my old age. I'm not really sure. So we got Rise of the Varmints, Caught in the Crossfire, and Shifting Grift, a sorcery spree card that allows you to do weird exchanges of creatures, which is kind of funny. Maybe you can use that in some kind of Zedru deck or something. Or in a token deck that you want to exchange your tokens for other giant creatures would be kind of cool. All right, we got our beautiful island. And then we have our two uncommon wanted poster, Tyrant Scorn and Essence Capture. Essence Capture kind of neat in like Simic +1/+1 counter decks because it's a counter creature spell that gives you a counter. Not bad. A Concealed Courtyard foil. A Breaches the Blast Maker. Let's take a look at it. It is blue, red, and 1 legendary creature, Goblin Pirate. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, flip a coin. When you win the flip, copy the spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. If you lose the flip, Breaches the Blastmaker deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. So you actually get a bonus no matter what, which is kind of sweet. Usually coin flips have a bad side, but this one, not so much. It's just a little out of control. So we've got Leyline Binding, popular card in modern play. That's our mythic. Hope I can get my hand out of the light there. And then, hey, look at this. Pretty cool little wanted poster frame. Kaervek the Punisher, a 3/3 warlock. Whenever you commit a crime, exile up to 1 target black card from your graveyard and copy it. And you may cast that copy. If you do, you lose 2 life. That's pretty cool. Costs 2 black and 1 colorless to put out. You can certainly build an interesting deck around this thing. That's pretty neat. So, we've gotten 2 foily black wanted posters. In our first box, we got Gissa. And this is kind of a really cool sort of I taken mushrooms in the desert sort of copy token, which I enjoy. Next up, pack number 4. Let's see what we pull. We have a treasure. Oh, we're going from so you probably saw what we're getting. Nonetheless, we'll stick with the old standby. We're doing the 4 commons from the back, then 3 uncommons. Doc Orlok, pretty strong. Tome Trawler, and a Lazav, Familiar Stranger. These might be interesting Pauper Commander cards. In fact, that little bear tends to be pretty powerful. Tomer from MTG Goldfish was highlighting it. It is a 2/3 for a blue and a green. Always love cheap mana cost. It's a bear druid. Spells you cast from your graveyard or from exile, 2 less to cast. And plotting cards from your hand cost 2 less. So the potential on this card, pretty high depending on, obviously, what you're doing, how you're able to exile cards. And I'm not familiar enough with it yet to tell you. Beautiful little cactus land. We need that for our desert deck for sure. Next up, the rares. We have Ride Down and a double Ride Down. We're getting a lot of these doubles here. So this is your uncommons. Then we have another Breaches, regular old Breaches. Magda the Horde Master with a full extended art. Beautiful and powerful card. Sacrifice 3 treasures is their second ability. Create a 4/4 red scorpion dragon with flying and with haste. Even though you can only activate that as a sorcery, that is a extremely powerful ability. Those treasures don't have to be untapped or anything. They can just be tap treasures that you get from something else. We've got Orochi Soul Reaver, Decimate, and Commandeer. Very shiny foil. Wanted poster style. Maybe that's worth a little bit. Who knows? I don't play enough competitive, modern, or anything these days to be able to tell you off the top of my head. I've left those days behind me for the casual crowd of Commander. Let's go to the next pack. Let's see what we pulled. All right, Wanted Griffin, Discerning Peddler, Daring Thunder Thief, and Outlaws Fury. Those are our commons for the pack. Then we have uncommon, Stubborn Burrow Fiend, Brimstone Roundup, and Betrayal at the Vault. Interesting. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each of 2 other target creatures at instant speed. Every once in a while, I'll highlight cards that I think are possibly playable in Commander. Not sure about that one, but it caught my eye. Next up, another beautiful forest. And then we have Humiliate. Journey to Nowhere, shiny foil version. Then we have, for our rares, Bruce Tarl, Roving Rancher. Cool, the Unrepentant Scorpion Dragon Rogue. It's funny that the type there is so small that it's just difficult to even, they've made it very tiny. It is a 5/5 with flying and trample for 2 black and 2 red. It sacrifices 3 other creatures. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery and only once per turn. Interesting. Do you run that, or do you run the old Rakdos the Defiler, I believe the name is, where it's 2 black and 2 red, and the more damage you do, the cheaper your spells are? This at least doesn't require Eldrazi, but I guess you put big creatures in each one of those builds. So we've got, ooh, so shiny. Love it when we get something cool like that. A little foil Grand Abolisher, extended art. That's the second Grand Abolisher we've gotten, and I am thrilled about it, to be fair, because I absolutely love that card. So glad they reprinted it. If you're playing in mono white, you know what's up. You don't want people countering your stuff on the turn you're trying to go off. All right, we've got Silver Deputy, A Reach for the Sky, and Bristling Backwoods. I've already gotten that desert from the previous box, but again, they're common, so they won't be difficult to acquire. We're looking for trade fodder in these boxes as well. Last box, we got the Roadrunner. Now we finally have the Coyote that chases it. What's cool is if you actually hold the art side by side, you'll see the action just happening as one full picture, which is pretty neat. I love when they do stuff like that. Then we have Rakish Crew, Plains, and now our 2 uncommon wanted poster cards, Buried in the Garden and Decisive Denial. Commander playable, not really, but in the right deck. A foil Riku with a mini pass. Claim Jumper, we got us a nice rabbit that searches for land. Back in Town, full art. Pariah, and ooh, cool, Anti-Flash. That's neat. So Anti-Flash, we haven't gotten this before. This is Naya colored in 3. It is a legendary human rogue, 4/5 with Flash, of course. When Anti-Flash, the veteran enters the battlefield, if you cast it, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. And whenever Anti-Flash becomes tapped, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. So basically, Anti-Flash is just Captain Value. You're getting stuff out of the graveyard. You're getting sort of like random draw off the top. Yeah, not bad. Claim Jumper we haven't seen yet either. Vigilance, 3/3. When Claim Jumper enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for a Plains card, can be any kind, and put it on the battlefield tapped. Then if an opponent controls more lands than you, repeat this process once. If you search your library this way, shuffle. So you could potentially get 2 lands, and that's pretty cool. I like that. Because in Commander, there's always going to be that green player, right, that just ramps out ahead of everybody. Well, this is a way for you to kind of hop back in, literally, because you're a rabbit. Next up, we're getting close to, I think we're halfway point right now. Corrupted Conviction, Armored Armadillo, and Ambush Gigapede. Those are, and also one more comment, I believe, yeah. Failed Fording. Stagecoach in the river. Watch out. We've got Baron, Bertram, Greywater, Demonic Ruckus, and Lasso by the Law. You're making just a little 1/1 token on top of a already expensive and kind of unplayable Oblivion Ring effect. We've got a plant, or a green land, I guess. Journey to Nowhere and Humiliate. Then Hell to Pay. Ooh, that's a good hit. That is a popular card. We'll talk about it here in a second. We've got Path to Exile. Love to see it. And Satoru the Infiltrator foily version. Pretty happy with this. We've got 2 shiny wanted poster cards and this one thing. So that's pretty cool. So Satoru, my friend's really looking for a copy in his Yuriko CEDH deck. So for those of you who don't know, it is a legendary creature, human ninja, rogue, matters, menace. Whenever Satoru the Infiltrator and or one or more other non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if none of them were cast or no mana was spent to cast them, you draw a card. So Yuriko often comes in with ninjutsu. She is not cast, so that can help trigger Satoru there. And we've got a sweet Path to Exile, lonely cowboy walking through the ruins. And we've got this other card that is getting some hype in the Hydra world, as most Hydras kind of disappoint. This one, however, is green and X. 0/0. Vigilance, trample, haste. Those 3 keywords are often the sign of something great. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Okay, cool. Cheap, effective, powerful. And then when it dies, you create a number of tap treasure tokens equal to its power. So even if it gets removed, most of the time, unless it's an exile, it will still net you a lot of value. And that's pretty cool, because Hydras need a little help, I think. I'm going to skedaddle soon, so we're going to go ahead and push through this fairly quickly. Giant beaver, cute. Throw from the saddle. Hard bristle bandit. I have a thing for these plant cacti. If you've ever been out in the desert and you've seen some saguaro cacti, they can be enormous and cool. And man, the desert is a beautiful place in spring. I used to live there in Arizona, and it can be a really pretty place. So that is part of the reason why I've been so excited, I think, to build a desert deck again that really oozes the flavor of this place that I used to live. Now I live in the wet mountains of North Carolina. Still pretty, but not the same. Ooh, oh man, I love the art. We're going to talk about it here shortly. We've got nice. We got a foil unlicensed hearse. Cool pull. Really powerful graveyard hate. Wonderful card. Archive trap. I used to play modern mill. So good. And we've got Archangel of Tithes. Now, I don't know if this card is going to be, killing anybody necessarily. It does make creatures hard to block, but the art is what I love. Like, I think this art is amazing. Despite the weird gun. I'm not a huge fan of the weird, Halo-style gun, but it's Magic, it's Wizards. They probably don't want to put real guns in the West, and I get it. But the character, this really just oozes country feel to me. It's got the sweat on her brow. Hectic gun battle. Amazing. This is a pretty cool card. So probably going to see more of constructed play than it would otherwise, but pretty cool nonetheless. All right, let's move on in. Hey, look at that. We found a token for our little javelina here. There's a little, like I said earlier, little fuzzy pig that runs around in Arizona, roots through people's yards. I think people don't love javelinas, or maybe it's a love-hate relationship, maybe, because they are so destructive, but they're cute, so you got to put up with it. All right, Outlaw Medic, Trick Shot, Harrier, Strix, and Fake Your Own Death. We are looking again for these Lava Spur boots. Let's see if we get them. Rattleback Apothecary, Mage Vein Lizard, Aloe Alchemist, another plant. It's just probably won't play it. I like that the plants can be plotted. I don't know. One of the meanings of plot, right, is to put it in the earth, sort of, so to speak. I'm plotting out this thing. So if you can plot a bunch of plants, I don't know, whatever. Maybe I'm the only person that thinks of that. Double Fling. We've gotten so many of these doubles in this uncommon slot. Interesting. Anyway, a cool the Unrepentant again. 3 steps ahead. Very cool counter spell. Discreet Retreat. Oko, Thief of Crowns, wanted poster style. That's neat. All right. So, if you don't know, this is the original. This is not the Thunder Junction version. This is a really powerful planeswalker that has been banned in multiple formats. Turns things into elks, makes a lot of food, comes down way too cheaply. Here we have Pitiless Carnage. For 3 and a black, sacrifice any number of permanents you control, then draw that many cards. Plot 1 black. All right, we've got 3 booster packs remaining. So, wish us luck, folks. We'd still love to hit a mana drain. That would be cool. I would take it. Or a mind break trap. I mean, I'll take whatever, because it is what it is. But if we could hit those, that would be a pretty cool end to the video here. Ah, beautiful. This is a land, a desert I didn't have. So that will go perfectly in my Naya Deserts deck that I'm putting together shortly after unpacking all this stuff. Gold Rush, This Town Ain't Big Enough, and Sheriff of Safe Passage. None of those look like boots. Then we have a Plains, Clear Shot, Heartless Pillage, and we get to our rares. Kervek the Punisher, Annie Joins Up, Leyline Dowser, Reanimate, Great Train Heist, and this amazing sheep token. I am a big fan, and it's a big sheep, so can't go wrong there. Highlights here. Annie Joins Up, pretty cool card. All of these Joins Up cards are pretty powerful, but Naya for 1 and red, green, white. Legendary enchantment. When it joins up, enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls. So you've got some removal on a stick. Then, if a triggered ability of a legendary creature you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So, obviously, many commanders throughout Magic's history have triggered abilities. This is just going to make them happen twice. And I think that is excellent. If you're using the right colors, right? You might as well throw it in. Very cool. 2 more packs. Leyline Dowser up there. Next up, Raven of Fell Omens, Bristleback Sentry, Voracious Varmint, and Nezumi Linebreaker, Rat Warlock. Boot? No boot. No boot. It's kind of dumb to buy a collector booster box and think you're going to get one particular uncommon probably, but we're just having fun here. We're just hoping. And what is life without hope, huh? Here we go. We got Back for More, and we got a Clear Shot. Nice. Now, we get to our special card. Smuggler Surprise, getting some play, possibly in Standard. Another wanted poster, Gessa the Hellraiser, Elemental Eruption, Abrupt Decay, and then Kellen Joins Up. I'm glad we got another join up card that we can talk about, because I think these are all pretty stellar. Let's hit it up real quick. So Kellen Joins Up. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted. And plotted again means you can cast it for free on the following turn. Now, whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. And notice that this is in the colors of Blink. Classic Blink. This is going to be probably fairly annoying to a lot of people to play against, but good for you. We have 1 more pack. Everybody do reverse psychology and hope for no mana drain, and that way we'll all get it. Even though you don't know I'm filming this yet. We're all just going to collectively hope that I don't get anything good in here whatsoever, and then the magic gods will be confused and smile upon us. Whew. What's cool is we didn't get the boots, but we did get this Scorching Shot, and because Standard is dominated by Shieldred, anything that can take down like 5 toughness is potentially seeing play. So 2 mana red deals 5 damage to target creature. This is one of the uncommons that was pre-ordering for more than $1. Strangely enough, it's just a Shieldred dominated world, y'all. If you play Standard, you probably know that. So we've got Essence Capture and Hindering Light for our uncommons, and then for our final little pools of rares. Torpor Orb, fancy, foily, big score edition. Free Strider Lookout, Savvy Trader, Surgical Extraction, and Collective Defiance foil. Plus, look at that token. Bo, the beautiful shiny blue ox. Very cool, y'all. Thank you again so much for joining us on these little random bonus episodes. As I get boxes, it's not going to be every single set, but as I get inspired to maybe buy a box here and there, and we're just going to share them with you all, because particularly I like watching booster box openings, and if any of you do too, hey, here's some free joy in your life. Find us at rule0podcast@gmail.com or on Twitter/X at rule0podcast, and that's with the number 0. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.